Good evening. Stefan was on assignment today, and we begin tonight with the latest on a massive barn fire in the city's rural south end. Multiple structures went up in flames overnight, killing a horse and several chickens. The fire broke out around 12:45 Thursday morning in the 3000 block of 8th Line Road at south of Metcalfe. CTV's Dyson reports.
Firefighters say this was an extremely hot call given the size of the fire, with many hazards on site as well. When fire crews arrived on scene, they found 3 barns up in flames. While managing such a large fire, crews also had to navigate downed live hydro wires, collapsing structures, and fuel tanks beside the barns, which required constant water to keep them cool to stop them from exploding. During the 2 hours it took firefighters to get the scene under control, there are also concerns about the fire spreading given the current dry conditions in the area.
One thing we worry about are the embers that can catch fire when they're wind-driven and move to other places that are dry. This happened at this fire, so many hay piles caught on fire and brush piles. We brought in a brush truck and extinguished those fires, but the conditions in Ottawa right now are dry, so people need to be mindful that those embers could hit a spot that's dry.
Ottawa Fire says that while the property owner was able to remove most of the animals from the barn, 1 horse and several chickens did die. No civilians or firefighters were hurt. Crews also managed to prevent the fire from spreading to the home nearby on the property. At this time, it is unknown what started the blaze, with the cause of the fire under investigation. Dyson, CTV News.
A warning from health officials in Kingston tonight after more than 100 people became sick from a parasite that caused stomach illness. As CTV's Katelyn Wilson explains, officials, they still don't know where it's coming from.
The parasite called cryptosporidiosis causes gastrointestinal symptoms. Health officials say water samples from several locations throughout the Kingston area and from the water treatment plant have all tested negative. According to the Southeast Public Health Unit, there are 114 confirmed cases so far. Officials say the parasite is caused by ingesting contaminated food or water and is spread through contact with infected feces from people or animals. It can cause diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and fever, and symptoms can start in as little as 2 days or up to 10.
The vast majority of people will be able to recover in the comfort of their house. And, the key things are, of course, maintaining hydration and having an appropriate balance of electrolytes. So not just drinking water, but also having the appropriate balance of salts and sugars as well. But some people can get pretty sick from this, especially people who are immunocompromised.
In order to minimize the spread, the health unit is urging people to stay home when sick and for at least 48 hours after diarrhea stops. People are being asked to wash their hands often, especially before eating, cooking, and feeding children. The health unit says hand sanitizer does not work on the parasite. Katelyn Wilson, CTV News.
Well, after a cool start to spring, it seems like the weather is finally warming up. A streak of above average temperatures has arrived in the capital, and while many are enjoying the heat, there are concerns for some residents. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
No dog days of summer yet, but it is hot out. Patios are popping up, and so are flowers.
It'll be great for growing.
And at Knippel's Garden Centre, customers like Catherine Arquet are getting ready to plant.
Well, a lot of annuals for color.
Dianthus is a nice one. It's heat tolerant.
Owner Kennedy Johnston has a trick for proper planting during long stretches of heat.
Plants are growing, so they're pushing out a lot of new growth, so that's stressful for them. So they need the water to support that.
Little Alia likes water too, but planting her feet in the water at Mooney's Bay Beach is all about cooling down and having some fun in the sun.
Seeing our daughter just be able to play freely in such a big, beautiful space and enjoy the sun, there's just nothing like it.
City beaches remain unsupervised until June 20th. Days like this, pushing up to 30 degrees, require hydration, sunscreen, and watch for signs of heat stroke like heavy sweating, headache, and nausea.
Number one is to try to take breaks from the heat. Whether it's in the shade and air-conditioned areas.
And heat can pose a threat for the vulnerable population, especially those living without air conditioning.
July and August are when things hit.
According to ACORN Canada, nearly half of low-income tenants lack AC, and the group is pushing for mandatory cooling in rental housing.
We want the city to enact the maximum heat bylaw so that landlords are required to
not let the heat go above 26 degrees.
It's nice. It's pretty warm today.
For little Alia and her family, the hope for summer is more hot, sunny beach days just like this.
And building lots of sandcastles in little cities over here. And yeah, it's just the best.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
All right, we'll take our first check of what's happening weather-wise here in the capital. A live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. We have some cloudy conditions here in Ottawa. And get this, it's 20 degrees here in the capital right now. Let's check in with CTV's Jackie Perez in the Weather Center for more. Jackie.
Well, there'll be few clouds in the sky for overnight, but for the most part, we have no precipitation moving in for our Friday morning. This could change later on in the evening, though. We are anticipating, especially late Friday evening into the overnight, especially around the valley, that we are anticipating some rain moving through. More on that in just a bit. What to expect temperature-wise? Well, 18 degrees to kick things off. We are warming up to about 29, 30 degrees, mainly sunny days, so you could likely leave the umbrella at home. If you are heading out for the later part of the evening, there's a slight chance that we could see some showers. We'll get a closer look at your long-term forecast and your weekend forecast in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. Concerns are growing over a high-risk offender now living in Ottawa. He has a history of violently sexually assaulting strangers. And while the law says he's eligible for day parole, police worry there's a chance he could commit these crimes again. CTV's Natalie Van Roy reports.
A warning from Ottawa police about this high-risk offender now living in Ottawa. 46-year-old Christopher Rolston is serving an indeterminate life sentence for 3 counts of sexual assault with a weapon and uttering threats.
What we know is that he will be residing in Ottawa on parole in a structured community-based facility.
The offenses happened in Toronto and in 2002. Police say he poses a significant risk to the community, particularly women, given his history of violent stranger sexual assaults.
If women and girls are scared in the community right now, and the people that care about them, that is a very normal, natural response. And yes, we are concerned. What we want to see is the conversations getting wider and us talking about why violence against women is still happening.
It's not clear what neighborhood he will be residing in. Rolston is subject to a curfew. He has several conditions, including reporting all friendships and relationships with women, no direct contact with the victims of his offenses, not consuming or buying alcohol, and no association with anyone he knows or believes is involved in criminal activity.
We urge people not to connect with him, not to contact him or speak with him.
Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
Ottawa police are reminding residents about window and balcony safety after a young child fell from a balcony on Wednesday. It happened in Stittsville at an apartment building near Abbott Street. Police say the child fell from the 4th floor and is in hospital in critical condition. Police also say this is the 3rd incident involving young children falling from high-rises in the last month. In late April, a 4-year-old boy died after falling from an apartment window in Sandy Hill. Meantime, police are looking for witnesses after a racial slur was discovered on a mural in the downtown core. Officers were called to Rideau Street near Nelson Street on Wednesday. They found the vandalism on the mural on the side of the Loblaws. The Hate and Bias Crime Unit is leading the investigation. And a 57-year-old man is facing charges in connection with a stabbing on Rideau Street. A man suffered from a stab wound, boarded an OC Transport bus on Wednesday morning in the area of Rideau Street and Friel Street. Police say the victim was on the sidewalk when he was stabbed in what appeared to be an unprovoked attack. He suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Well, CAA has released its annual list of the worst roads in Ottawa, and a familiar name has claimed the top spot. Carling Avenue was voted the worst road in the city for the 21st year in a row. The list is based on nominations from drivers, and those who drive along Carling say the results aren't surprising.
It's terrible. I just live up not far from here, and the traffic doesn't matter what time of day. The roads are in bad shape, and it takes me a long time to get from how close I am to home and to anything in the West End.
I think, it's a continuous and it's an ongoing situation that we have in this city, Not only this road, but many others.
I've ruined my tires completely just by all the potholes, and it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. It's consistently getting worse, I think.
Bronson Avenue claimed the #2 spot, followed by Bank Street and Richmond Road, but no Ottawa spots made the list of the top 10 worst roads in the province. Well, new data shows elevators at O train stations have broken down hundreds of times over the past 18 months. Most of them were along LRT Line 1, which saw 435 unplanned elevator outages between September of 2024 and February of this year. Blair, Rideau, Lyon, and St. Laurent stations had the highest number of outages. Some of the most common causes were debris and salt, equipment failures, and issues with the doors. The project is underway now to install 2 new elevators. Ottawa Central Ambulance Communications Centre has received international recognition, designating it an accredited centre of excellence.
From a caller calling 911 or calling for paramedic assistance, it means that each of our call takers are following the same algorithm to make sure that we're defining the right problem and defining the right priority to send the right response to the person in need.
The designation is awarded to emergency communication centers that achieve the highest level of triage and dispatching, quality assurance, and clinical care. Ottawa's team needed to continuously exceed 97% of compliance with call-taking protocols. There's a brand new radio show launching across Bell News Talk stations and the iHeartRadio app on Friday. It'll be hosted by a familiar voice in a bit of a more relaxed setting.
It's a Friday vibe I'm hoping for. So, you know, some of the off the beaten track stuff, a little bit lighter here and there. Yes, there'll be big interviews. Yes, there'll be news of the day, the big 5 things that I've seen over the last week that caught my attention, but also a few smiles and laughs because it's Friday and there's nothing wrong with that.
The Graham Richardson Show will bring thoughtful conversations, exclusive interviews, and trusted insight into the issues, people, and events shaping the country each week. You can tune in every Friday from noon to 2 p.m. across the Bell News Talk stations, including News Talk 580 CFRA and the iHeart Radio app.
We've increased the fines, I think, up to $25,000. We're making the list public.
Well, coming up, cracking down on those violating the capping price of concert and event resale tickets from original face value.
It's like getting ready for the first day of school, so we can't wait.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off in a week from now, and organizers held a tour this morning, including a look inside the Toronto Stadium. And one of the biggest upgrades are the bleachers, where capacity has been increased to nearly 45,000. 6 World Cup games will be played in Toronto, with the most anticipating being most likely the first match next Friday when Canada faces Bosnia-Herzegovina. And ahead of the World Cup, the Ontario government is more than doubling the maximum fine that can be handed out for selling tickets above their original face value. Businesses and people who violate legislation capping the price of resale tickets at their original face value could face fines of $25,000. That's up from $10,000. The government is also amending legislation to allow for the public identification of any ticketing business issued fines. Premier Doug Ford says the move will help make live entertainment more affordable for the average Canadian.
We're moving extremely fast on this, and we're going to hold people accountable. We've increased the fines, I think, up to $25,000. We're making the list public for people that want to try to take advantage of the taxpayers. We're here to protect the taxpayers. They're there to make a profit.
The new fine structure comes into effect on June 10th. All right, let's head back to the Weather Center and Jackie Paris for an extended look at your forecast. Jackie.
Take a look at our overnight lows. It's still pretty mild in terms of weather, but we are getting down to the mid-teens, 14 degrees for our overnight. Few clouds in the skies. Those southerly winds sticking around for at least another day. Yes, 30 degrees is our anticipated daytime high. We didn't quite get to that today, but tomorrow, another chance. A mix of sun and cloud is in store for the most part of our day for Friday. Tonight's lows across eastern Ontario, about 13, 15 degrees. That heat still continuing to linger overnight, but you might want to leave the windows open for that overnight hours. Tomorrow's daytime highs, though, is going to warm up to about 30 degrees, 25 around Kingston, Brockville, Cornwall, 29 degrees. You can see by the valley in the Bancroft area that there is a chance that we could see some rain moving in the late evening or early evening, I should say, late afternoon. And this is a closer look and we could anticipate that it is going to carry us into Saturday morning, where we could anticipate between 5 to 10 millimeters of rain. There will be a little bit of a break midday Saturday, but by Saturday afternoon, or 5 p.m. I should say, around Smiths Falls, Cornwall, there is heavy bouts of rain anticipated moving through. We are keeping a very close eye on this. We're a couple days away from that as well. Now, taking a look at Saturday, 22 degrees, the anticipated daytime high. So things will cool for our Saturday, but then by the time Sunday and Monday roll around, we are swinging back up to temperatures that will, by midweek, turn into about 30, 31 degree weather.
They will now have their fingerprints and photos taken digitally, and it essentially will replace the old passport stamp that we're used to on our passports.
All right, up next, what Canadian travelers heading to Europe need to know about a new security system that's causing delays and long lineups at some airports. The Guitars and Gasoline Music Festival kicks off Friday night and runs until Sunday, featuring an all-Canadian lineup of artists at the Calabogie Motorsports Park. The festival offers camping zones as well as food and drinks on site. This year's performers include Brett Kissel, who will be taking the stage on Saturday night, and the Glorious Sons are performing Friday night. Well, as many Canadians continue to shun travel to the U.S. this summer, some are choosing European destinations instead. But as CTV's Pat Foran tells us, if you're flying overseas, you should expect delays and possibly long lines at airports.
Europe is a favorite destination for travel, and this summer will be even busier than usual. Bookings to Italy, Ireland, Greece, Switzerland, and Spain are all up substantially over last year. A video of the Lisbon airport in Portugal a week ago went viral when it showed lineups that were hours long.
It is quite honestly astonishing and testimony to just what a disaster these new EES rules are.
Canadians shouldn't be worried. They should be prepared.
Flight Centre is trying to warn Canadians that because of the new entry-exit system in Europe, they may face delays.
They will now have their fingerprints and photos taken digitally, and it essentially will replace the old passport stamp that we're used to on our passports.
Travel experts say if you're flying in or out of European destinations, you'll need to budget hours of extra time at airports.
It's always crazy during this time of year, but then you add in that new entry-exit system and gathering all of those new biometrics, and it is just taking people a lot longer.
And it's not just flying, it's any mode of transportation in or out of Europe.
It's affecting all border crossings in any form, whether it's by cruise ship or by land or by airports.
Recommendations if you're traveling to Europe: arrive much earlier, especially for intra-Europe flights. Keep passports and travel documents easily accessible. Monitor airline apps for updates. Consider flexible fares where possible, and register with Canada's Registration of Canadians Abroad Service. While the new system is expected to make travel faster in the future, for now there will be growing pains as the system rolls out.
I would be making sure that I build in some extra time at any of those European airports.
Experts say don't let the Lisbon airport video worry you too much, as it's known to have some of the longest lineups of any European airports, and others should be much better. Pat Foran, CTV News.
I got the call. I had just had my second daughter like a week before, and then Chuck Lorre called me, and I was like, this is the best phone call ever.
All right, just ahead, a look at some of the new shows coming to CTV and Crave this fall.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, it's Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford. Take your weekend pass. We've got the Bronco Sport for it.
Shawarma Fest is returning to the Byward Market this weekend after last year's inaugural event. It's set to take place on York Street this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Ottawa's top shawarma restaurants will be competing for the title of Best Shawarma in the city. There will also be live DJs and cultural performances, and there will also be an attempt to break the world record for the longest shawarma sandwich in the world. Well, it was a big day for Bell Media, the parent company of CTV News. The stars are in Toronto for the annual Upfronts presentation, where the company reveals the new shows coming to Bell Media platforms. CTV's Andrea Case has more.
Yeah, going slow really worked.
When Kevin Sussman got the call from the Big Bang Theory producer Chuck Lorre, he was thinking of a spin-off for the show starring his character Stuart Bloom. He was surprised because a start on Big Bang wasn't a smooth one.
My first day, I went up on I forgot my line many times. And I was like, okay, well, moving on. I won't be on this show again. So it was crazy that I wound up, in the end, I was on the original one over 80 times.
Now, 7 years after that show ended, Sussman is back with cast members Lauren Lapkus, Brian Posen, and John Ross Bowie.
You wouldn't look at Brian and think vision board guy, but you'd be wrong.
Yeah. And I kind of put it out there. I won't say I manifested the show.
You manifested it.
But there was a little bit of me going, I said Chuck Lorre into I did a little Beetlejuice, where I would say Chuck Lorre into the mirror. I'm sweating telling you this in person. But I really did that. And that's why my wife, when he called, she was like, oh my God.
The premise of the show is Bloom accidentally breaks a space-time device, triggering an apocalyptic event, forcing the team to travel from universe to universe to restore reality.
I got the call. I had just had my second daughter like a week before, and then Chuck Lorre called me, and I was like, this is the best phone call ever. I have a job, and it's going to be cool. So it was very exciting.
For Canadian actor Scott Speedman, being back here at 299 Queen Street, Bell Media headquarters, brings back a lot of memories. Do you remember Speaker's Corner?
I was driving along Queen Street. I think I got diverted. I knew about this thing that was happening. A lot of kids were auditioning for Batman Forever, the Boy Wonder part, and I was driving along Queen Street. I was actually trying to get to McMaster. I was seeing my friends. They were at school already, my older friends. I was still in high school, and there was enough traffic. I pulled the double park, pulled over, ran in, put my dollar in the Speaker's Corner and said, you know, I want to audition for Boy Wonder. And then my mom got a call like 3 days later or something to come audition, and I did a couple of auditions for Mally Finn, the casting director for Warner Brothers, who was here, and the rest is history.
He didn't get the job, but a career was born. Speedman returns for season 2 of his show, Florida-based PI R.J. Decker. This year, he also takes on the role of executive producer. Andrea Case, CTV News.
And we'll have more from the Bell Upfronts red carpet after the break. That's Heated Rivalries. Hudson Williams on the show is set to return April 2027, with production beginning later this year. Another live look now through our Centennial Glass sky cam. Still sitting at 20 degrees with cloudy conditions in the capital. We'll have our final check of weather right now. Jackie Paris has one more look at the forecast. Jackie.
Well, mix of sun and cloud to kick things off, but mainly sunny if you are heading out the door at 7 a.m. 15 degrees to kick off our Friday. It will warm up to about 30 degrees, but the clouds are going to start rolling in and cover much of Ottawa by the time late afternoon rolls around. It's going to cool down to about 22 degrees for Saturday. Overnight Friday into Saturday, anticipate some rain moving in and on and off for our Saturday. Again, 5 to 10 millimeters of rain anticipated. A chance of showers expected for Sunday, but slim chance. 26 degrees is going to be the daytime high. As we look towards midweek, we are likely going to get back up to 31 degrees next week.
All right, thank you, Jackie. Well, Saturday nights are going to look a little different right here on CTV in the fall.
I'm so excited. This is so cool to be a part of, really, you know, the best television network in Canada. You know what I'm talking about? I feel like SNL's where it's supposed to be for Canadian viewers.
That's James Austin Johnson, one of the stars of Saturday Night Live, which is coming to CTV and Crave. Now, he was among the stars who hit the red carpet at the Bell Media Upfronts today. Big Brother and Big Brother Canada will also be here on CTV and Crave, along with an updated take on the Canadian classic, The Littlest Hobo, produced by Canadians Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. Definitely looking forward to all the shows coming to CTV. All right, well, that's CTV News for this Thursday, June the 4th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team, keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. For all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching. See you again tomorrow night.